Hello, I'd like to weigh in on the presentation that Keith Edwards presented. First, my first point I would like to make is that Keith Edwards was unapologetic about being a white man of privilege doing this work, the DEI work. That was particularly refreshing to me because I felt that his introduction laid his foundation of trust and knowledge around the work that he's doing in dealing with men and identity. I also wanted to comment on the bridge analogy he gave about how to reach people who are on the other side of the coin. He talked about how people who had more educational privilege could walk slowly and help lead the discussion with the people on the other side. I like that. And it wasn't one of, hey, I know this, I know that, I'm the expert at this, I'm the expert. He was just simply walking across the bridge to gather knowledge and understanding of where the other people were. And through that discussion, I believe that he was able to bring those people who we would be considered, uneducated, prejudice, or whatever labels we would put on those people who don't, typically see things the way that we do. So I really like that bridge analogy. He also stressed if we were not ready or able currently to do the work, have these discussions that if we're not ready or to do this work about diversity, equity, and inclusion, you know what? It's okay. And we don't have to fight this battle right now. It is okay to get more information and become more informed and educated and do your self-healing in the process, which kind of coincided with what Vernon Walls had talked about. The other point that I'd like to make was the fact that Keith Edwards and Vernon Walls, I found them to be aligned. I'm sorry about my camera. I found them to be aligned in the fact that, this is our responsibility to have these conversations, but it's not necessarily our jobs to fix it. But it is our responsibility to be open to the conversation and maybe facilitate the conversations when we're ready and that when we have done our healing work. Okay. Keith also expressed how important it is to share the appropriate information with the appropriate audience. I like when he talked about, he stressed that DEI can be discussed with kindergartners, given the appropriate discussion and lessons. He used the example of consent with his little daughter, and he was like, he didn't necessarily want his daughter to be talking about extremely heavy topics with DEI, but he was a proponent of having these conversations with the little guys on their level in age appropriateness. And I also agree with that because I'm K-12 as well. So he also said that the most important information or discussion to have is one that is being informed. He also said, I want to go back to the example. He did talk about incoming freshman college students. He said that, yes, you can go through all this rhetoric about what is right, what is wrong, but at the end of the day and at the end of the hour of the 90 minutes, he said what is most important, or the most information that these freshmen need, was what is the policy regarding DEI, sexual abuse, or misconduct. He said that they need to know the policy and what number to call if they have been violated. Both speakers, Vernon Walls and Keith Edwards, like I said, were very, very, very authentic. I think that their approach in teaching DEI social issues and how we as educators can contribute to this work. I think that it is very approachable. I think that it is doable. I also like the fact that they encourage for us to heal what we need to heal first before we go all in. I like that approach.